In this lesson, it's our goal to divide fractions and mixed numbers. But before we can divide, we need to know what a reciprocal is. So I have a definition and how to find the reciprocal first. Write down the definition of a reciprocal. A reciprocal is two non-zero numbers whose product is 1. So when you multiply these two numbers together, the number and the reciprocal, you will get 1. To find a reciprocal, you flip the numerator and denominator. You just switch them. The numerator becomes the denominator and the denominator becomes the numerator. So let's find some reciprocals and prove that they're reciprocals by using the definition. The justification is the proof. Let's say they give you a fraction such as, let's do 1/2. The reciprocal of 1/2, you just flip the numerator and the denominator, is 2/1, or simplified 2/1, 2 divided by 1 is 2. Okay, why is 1/2 and 2 reciprocals? Well, when you multiply 1/2 times 2, or 2/1, you get 2/2. 2/2, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, again, let's talk about this again. The definition of a reciprocal is two non-zero numbers whose product is 1. 1/2 times 2/1, or half of 2, is 1. So 1/2 and 2 are reciprocals because when they're multiplied together, they equal 1. To find a reciprocal, you just flip the fraction over. So let's say we have something such as 3. Okay, you need to have a fraction to find the reciprocal, so you need to think about what 3 is as a fraction. To make any whole number into a fraction, you put it over 1. Now I can find the reciprocal. To find the reciprocal, you flip the numerator and the denominator. So the reciprocal is 1/3. And to prove that it's reciprocals, we would multiply 3/1 times 1/3. We get 3/3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. We can do this with negatives. Say we have -3/4. The reciprocal of -3/4, so you just flip the numerator and the denominator, is -4/3. And proof, we multiply the two together. A negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 12/12. 12 divided by 12 is 1. We're going to do one more example. Let's say they give you a decimal. 0.2. We can't find the reciprocal of a decimal. It's not a fraction yet, so you're going to have to turn it into a fraction. And to turn this decimal into a fraction, you use place value. The 2 is in the tenths place, so this equals 2/10. And then I'm going to reduce it, so equal 1/5. And then to find the reciprocal of 1/5, we flip the numerator and denominator. 5/1 is the same as 5. And I'm going to use those two fractions to prove that they're reciprocals. 5/5 is 1. Okay, now that we know what a reciprocal is, we can start to divide. Let's go back to what our lesson is actually about here. Now that we have background knowledge. So our whole goal of this lesson was to divide fractions. Well, I'm going to let you know that it is not possible to divide fractions. Just like it was not possible to subtract with integers. When we came across a subtraction problem with integers, we turned it into an addition problem. That same thing needs to happen here. It's not possible to divide fractions. Instead, we're going to turn it into something we do know how to do. We know how to multiply fractions. So here are my instructions to divide fractions. Let's see here. Sorry about this. Hold on. Just trying to get rid of this. To divide fractions. You're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And there's going to be a specific order in this. When you're dividing fractions, you get two fractions. You're always going to take the reciprocal of the second number. And to remember that process, we're going to use the phrase keep, switch, flip. Again, it sounds familiar as integers. With integers, we use keep, switch, opposite. Here, we're going to use keep, switch. reciprocal. Keep the first fraction, switch to multiplication, and flip is the reciprocal. Okay, so let's try this. Let's try negative 2/3 divided by a negative 5/6. It is not possible to divide fractions, so I'm going to turn this problem into a multiplication problem with keep, switch, flip. Keep the first fraction. Change or switch this into multiplication. I'm going to use the dot. And flip or find the reciprocal of negative 5/6 is negative 6/5. Now that I have a multiplication problem, I'm going to follow multiplication rules. And I see in this problem we can cross reduce. We have a greatest common factor of 3. We can cross reduce 3 out of both of these. The other way we can't cross reduce, so I'm going to multiply straight across. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 5 is 5. A negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 2/3 divided by a negative 5/6 is 4/5. Let's try another one. 2/15 divided by negative 8/25. We can't divide, so I'm going to turn it into multiplication using keep, switch, flip. You only keep the first fraction. Don't keep the second fraction. You keep the first fraction. Keep, switch, division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. Find the reciprocal. Now I follow multiplication rules, and I am going to cross reduce. I see between 2 and 8, the greatest common factor is 2. I'm going to divide these both by 2. And between 15 and 25, the greatest common factor is 5, so I'm going to divide both by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 4 is 12. A positive times a negative is a negative. You're going to want to always check to see if you need to reduce, but if you cross reduce in the beginning, you shouldn't have to reduce at the end. Okay. Let's try some mixed numbers. Let's say we have negative 6 2/3 divided by 1 1/5. Or sorry, 1 5/9. I read that wrong. Negative 6 2/3 divided by 1 5/9. Just like multiplication, you can't multiply using mixed numbers. So I'm going to have to turn them improper first. So this becomes 18/20. We get negative 20/3. I did 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2 is 20. The denominators stay the same. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 5 is 14. I cannot divide. I'm going to turn it into multiplication by keep, switch, opposite. Sorry, keep, switch, flip. Keep, switch, flip. Cross reduce. I'm going to take a 3 out of these two. And it looks like we can take a 2 out of the other two. So 14 divided by 2, 20 divided by 2. 10 times 3 is 30. 1 times 7 is 7. Negative times a positive is a negative. I'm going to turn this into a mixed number. 7 goes into 34 times. That's 28. There are 2 left over, and our denominators stay the same. I would like you to try 1 and 13/14 divided by 13. Go ahead and push pause and try that now. Okay. So I need to turn this mixed number to an improper fraction. I have 14 times 1 plus 13 is 27. Our denominator stays the same. And then this needs to become a fraction. To turn any whole number into a fraction, we put it over 1. Can't divide, so I'm going to turn it into multiplication. Keep the first fraction. Switch to multiplication. Flip. Unfortunately, there is no cross reducing in this problem, so I'm going to multiply a straight across. 27 times 1, and then 14 times 13 is 182. And I'm going to check to see if we can reduce it all. I know we can't divide by 2. 3 doesn't work. 4 4 doesn't work, 5 doesn't work, 6 isn't going to work, 7 doesn't work, 9's not going to work, 10 no, 11, 12 no. So this looks like it's simplified as much as possible. I'm going to do one more problem with you. There are a couple problems where you're going to have to follow order of operations. So let's try 5/8 plus 5/12 divided by, I have 10/2. This is an expression. When you have an expression, you need to follow order of operations. So let's just pen this. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, multiplication, division is a team, and addition and subtraction is a team. Follow order of operations. So we have to multiply and divide before we can add and subtract. I actually have to work with these two numbers first, and then I'm going to add 5/8 at the end. I'm going to turn this into addition. Keep, switch, flip. Now I'm going to follow multiplication rules, and I'm going to cross reduce 5 out of both of these, and 2 out of here. So I get 1 times 1, and 6 times 2. I'm going to drop down the rest of the problem. Okay, now I only have one step left, and that is addition. So I'm going to have to find a common denominator. And a method to do this is to take the bigger denominator and start going through the multiples of it until 8 goes into it. So 8 does not go to 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 8 goes into 24 3 times. So my common denominator that I'm going to use is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. So multiply the numerator by 3. 12 times 2. So I get 17/24. No, that's not what I got here. Where did I make a mistake? Did we make a mistake? 5/8. Nope, that's right. I just copied the wrong problem. This was supposed to be a 21, but we'll just stick with it as a 2. Write down any questions. If you have them, we'll answer them tomorrow.